welcome. It is Caitlin, and today we're going to talk about some Wellborn projects. Actually, one Wellborn project. So Wellborn is the main living history event I do a year. It's in Virginia. I'm from Texas, so it's quite a long journey to get there, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of great people, and we have fun doing first person together. And so it is next month, and I need to get some projects together, so let's get to it. So the project I'm going to work on today is a petticoat, and it's actually an over the hoop petticoat. So when I do 1860s, you have a petticoat that's usually underneath the hoop to kind of just, in case your hoop flies up for some reason, still a skirt underneath there. Then you have your hoop, and you usually have 1 to 2 petticoats over that, just kind of soften the lines just a little bit. And so I have one that I use regularly, and it's just plain Jane petticoat, hand sewn. You know, it's nothing special. But because this Wellborn event is in April, usually they're in October. It got canceled this past October and rescheduled for April. And so I figured since it's in the springtime, I might want to wear a couple of sheer dresses. And I would prefer to have a fancier petticoat to kind of show through some of those dresses. One of them is kind of a plain brown wool gauze. It's not exactly anything special. I am going to make a little purple necktie to go with it, kind of set some color off because it is just brown and the trimming is silk and it is like a silvery gray. So it's nothing really special to look at, but I thought because the skirt is so sheer, having a very pretty petticoat underneath would kind of set off the whole look. So that was my first main project for Wellborn, is to make a tucked petticoat. And let's just say tucks and me don't get along. I hate making tucks, which is why this project has been on my radar for several years, and why it's still not done. So this should be interesting, because what I'm wanting is an entirely tucked petticoat, not just 3 tucks or 5 tucks or 7 tucks at the bottom. I want the entire petticoat tucked all the way up, which, knowing how I was with the last tucked petticoat I made, and I only had 3 tucks, this should be very interesting. So let's get to the research page. Okay, so it is spring break, and I really don't feel like doing a lot of math. And so what I did was I measured my petticoat that I'll wear this petticoat over, and that measured 39 inches around, which means it's probably a little short in the back, so I really should be an inch longer in the back. So it really should be 40 in the back and 39 in the front. The skirt measures, was it 40, yeah, it was 42 inches in the front, really 42 and a half, and then like 44 in the back. And so I think I need to go something in between those. I need it somewhat longer than the other petticoats. The under petticoat doesn't peek through, but I definitely need it shorter than the dress. And so I think I'm going to shoot for 40 to 41 inches in length. And tucks, this is why I hate, well, it's one of the reasons I hate tucks, it's all the math. And so if I do inch tucks, it's an inch here and then an inch on the back, and then there'll be an inch behind it, y'all can't see that, and then an inch below it, because I want an inch to show through. So basically I need twice as much fabric to make a tuck all the way up, which actually give me plenty, because I don't want to tuck all the way up. I want to leave like the last maybe 8 inches near my waist untucked. So that should be plenty of fabric. So yeah, let's do that. Let's cut it. So if I need it 40 inches, more like 41, let's cut it, the fabric, 80 inches. And that should still give me plenty of room with the last 8 inches tucked of a 2-inch hem and some to cut off the front to make the back a little longer. And that should still have plenty for a waistband. So let's try that. If it doesn't work, it'll be okay, because I'll just add extra on the bottom and I'll hide that seam under a tuck. And so it'll turn out either way, I think.
Well, hello there. I think I have somehow managed to rig the camera to where y'all can see me tucked. So hopefully this will work. I have here approximately 125 yards of white cotton fabric. I purchased 150, and then I used it for some stuff. So I think it's probably about 125 yards now. And so this is what I shall be using to make my petticoat. It is 36 inches wide, which means I shall need 5 panels to make my 180-inch wide petticoat, which again is quite a wide petticoat usually you wouldn't have one with quite as wide a circumference as that. However, I think this shall work. And I would rather not have to cut a panel in half. I like to use selvages, so I think we're going to have to do this anyway. And, you know, 140 something wasn't even quite big enough. And so I think this is what we shall do. And so, yes, hopefully you can now see me cut. And, yeah, let's get to it. So I have my cutting board rigged to where it's just on IKEA tables, and then I glued cutting mats on top of it. So they're all numbered. I have from 1 to 30, so this one is 36, and then I put markers on here every 5 inches, so I know 40, and mine only goes to 70, so I think we're going to go to 40 twice before I cut. So let me find the edge of this again. There it is. Okay. So I'm going to measure up with this. If it's not perfect, it's not perfect. Here's a 140. Of course, now my scissors are somehow lost in this mass of fabric. And I need that to get this rip started. Okay. There we are. They're not perfect, they're not perfect. So, alright, one panel. Just shove it on the chair. And let's cut another one. So that was one. Quite the quality I'm used to. Usually I get my, it's from the same company, but they stopped selling the 200 thread count stuff, and so this is like 70 thread count stuff, which, yeah, I can definitely see the quality difference, but for a petticoat, it shouldn't particularly matter. I'm glad I made all my, because I made all of my drawers and chemises and such out of the other stuff. And those are the things that are going to take a good amount of wear. These are just not, it shouldn't matter. So I'm glad I did that before they stopped selling the other stuff. But that stuff was really nice. I could get either 25 or 50 yards of that really nice cotton for, it's like $70. It worked out to be like $2 something a yard. And it was really good quality stuff. So, what was that, 3? So this is 4? I'm sad they don't, or Walmart's not selling that anymore. So this ripping technique will work on almost any straight grain fabric. So I have used it for, I've not used it on wool, but I've used it on silk taffeta, on cottons, quilting cottons. I did it on silk organza, which I was really surprised that worked. I didn't realize it was going to work, but it did. And so you can always test a little bit off the end to see if it's going to rip straight. But it's so much easier, quicker, and much less of a headache than cutting it all the way through. Okay, that should be fine. So I think the next step is to get the ironing board out, and hello. I think the next step is to get the ironing board out and work on ironing it and then placing the tucks where I would like them. Yes, I think that's what we shall do next. Okay, so I just did one entire panel just to see how it would work, and I think I got it down okay. And so I guess we can go and get started with the rest of this. And so I'm using this little fabric pen here. I'm using the disappearing ink side
chalk, but I don't have any colored chalk, and since my fabric is white, probably wouldn't work. And so I'm going to use this and hope it doesn't stay, but if it does, it's just a petticoat, so I'm not too worried about it. So I'm just marking every 2 inches from the bottom, or from where the hem will be, all the way up, and I'm just going to do it in 5 places. I'm sure there's a more precise way of doing this, but maybe that's why I don't like tucks. Maybe I just don't know how to do tucks properly. I usually very much enjoy monotonous, slow, tasks like this, but I don't like doing tucks. I am finding the single panel of fabric easier to maneuver in the machine, so I am glad that I did it that way instead of sewing the whole thing together first. I think that it's going to work at least slightly to preserve my sanity, which I enjoy having, so I'm going to try to keep that intact. We'll go ahead and here. It might be easier to start from the top, except I don't know where to start from the top to make it match the other one. We're going to start at the bottom then. Every 2 inches I made a mark, and I'm just going to put one mark on top of another mark, and that's going to make a 1 inch wide tuck. And then I'm going to pin it in place. Okay, just made it a little darker here. Maybe y'all can actually see the tucks instead of seeing a bright white light. I have made, I guess since we're already talking, I've already made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tucks. Hasn't taken too terribly long. I will say I do like this width of fabric because I can actually fit it onto the ironing board, and it makes it a lot easier to iron just in one fell swoop. to see the other one and see how many tucks it has, because I think I'm nearing the end of this, and I think I should be pretty much done with this section. Yay, 2 panels done. Alright, this one's good this side. I'm going to start a new one. I don't think I'm going to film the rest of them, just because I don't want this video to be an hour long. Okay, so I have run out of pins, and so I have not quite finished the tucking yet. So what I went ahead and did, I pinned together the panels that I had pinned together. At least the tucks. The tucks were pinned, and so I pinned those together. So now I have one giant long rectangle. I'm going to go ahead and stitch the tucks that I have so far. That way I can free up all those pins and use them on the last 2 panels. And why yes, I am not using the period sewing machine today. It's kind of finicky, so sometimes when I'm dealing with things I really don't want to have to sew, like tucks, I don't use it. I use my modern machine. That way it also gets some use to and some love too. Because I know she feels very left out whenever she has to sit in the cabinet for months at a time, because I use the period one. But yeah, she's a lot less finicky. Her thread she doesn't break thread as often as the other one. And it's going to be a lot less frustrating to do all this tucking that I'm going to have to do on her. So yeah, we're doing this one today. Okay, so I think I'm going to pause the video now. I'm only halfway done with the tucking on just these 2 panels. However, this video is already 24 minutes long, and even though I know I'm going to speed it up quite a bit, I don't think y'all need to see that much of me on the sewing machine. Well, good afternoon. It is the next day. Actually, it's the end of the day after the last video I shot. And I just finished the tucks. That took a while. So I now have a completed-ish petticoat. At least it looks somewhat more like a petticoat. So I went ahead and hemmed it. And of course I got all the tucks done. And I went ahead, while the camera was charging, going ahead and making the waist, it's called balancing the skirt. So basically the back end needs to be a little bit longer to accommodate the bump in the hoop than the front does. So I went ahead and balanced that. So now I'm ready to go ahead and start hand doing the gathers. And so yes, let's go ahead and start that.